Girl, let's get real. Some pads are just diapers with a good PR team, but not the new Kotex BioCare. That's because Kotex BioCare helps defend against odor and irritants. And it's the first and only pad with this pH proactive system that helps optimize the pad's pH. Just think of it as self-care for down there. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the all-new Kotex, completely redesigned to meet your needs. You asked, we heard.
Today, we are going to talk about the U.S. men's national team. They are out of the World Cup. At least we got to enjoy the run till the 4th of July. We'll talk a little bit about the 4th of July. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday. I know I did. I'm always into the 4th of July because there's no strings attached. You know, the 4th of July is just stress-free, expectation-free, and people are not looking for cards. Like, you'll never go to a barbecue and someone says, at least you could have brought a card. No, you could bring some burgers or some buns or some ice or something. But, yeah, we also got to get into some stuff with the Yankees and the Mets, both getting wins last night. We also got to talk a little bit about the Knicks and the NBA. And before we get out of here, I want to talk about the All-Star Game and Fanatics Fest. And I'm just so excited for what's to come with this show. I'm so excited that now this is called the Keith McPherson Show. You know, there's so much that goes on that I can't necessarily speak to yet or reveal. But as long as God puts air in my lungs, as long as God wakes me up in the morning, I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep going. And we're going to have a lot of fun with this. I appreciate everybody listening on podcast apps as the podcast now has started to churn and turn. And there's over 100 downloads on the podcast. And I feel like, you know, my old feed turned into this. And now there's consistent listenership. And then also the YouTube is growing. We're approaching 3,800 subscribers on YouTube. And I'm really going to just like lock in and screenshot this and remember this type of stuff for the future. Humble beginnings. Blessed to be somebody that can even do this for a living and do this to have people watching. So we're going to get into the sports talk and conversation. And episode 2 of the Keith McPherson Show starts now. Oh, yeah. Right back at it. Your mic is checked. Lights, camera, action. I know you can probably see my setup, my studio setup. I'm back to like the Yankee look, the blue lights. I just feel like this is more me. I feel like this is more of how my look should be. And what I really felt like was like, yo, if I'm doing the show from home, if I'm carrying the entire show, if I'm the one making the run of show, if I'm the one talking through the show, I'm the one hosting the show, I'm the one booking the guests, I'm the one in post-production, uploading the podcast, clipping the show, putting it on social media. It's my show. It should be called the Keith McPherson Show. And it's funny how things work, that it took all of that to get to here. So without further ado, let's get into it. You know, you just heard the intro as I was kind of getting people to pull up in the Twitter chat, Instagram, also streaming on YouTube, obviously. But now let's get into the actual parts of the show that we're going to talk about. First, we got to start with BJ's in Ocean Township. Did you guys happen to see the flooding that took place in BJ's in Ocean Township? Maybe you didn't. I will pull it up for you right now. And the only reason we're starting with this, because this is the only non-sports related thing I have, but this made national news, and this is my hometown, and a BJ's that I've been in at least 10 times. I was more of a Costco guy when I was back at home. But I know, I mean, I know I've been in there with my wife and my son, like as recent as last year. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see shocking video captured the moment a section of a BJ's wholesale club roof collapsed in southern New Jersey. Hey, yo, now I got to move on from that. It's not southern New Jersey. It's not southern New Jersey, but watch this video, please. Look at the guy in the hat. He kept his feet and he didn't lose his cart as the roof collapsed. That's from water damage. That's from rain. And there was a lot of rain over the weekend. I guess we needed it with the heat wave. But, man, I'm glad everybody is safe. I'm glad that the rain has passed. And hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July. People in the chat, let me know what you did on the 4th. Let me know if you enjoyed it. On the actual 4th, I was on WFAN from 2 a.m. to 5. Maybe you heard a little bit of that KM to AM. Maybe you didn't. Some of that show I will bring into this show, some of the things that we spoke on. But speaking of the 4th of July, this will lead us into the conversation around the men's national team. Shout out to my guy, Deezus. I thought this was hilarious. Let me see if I can pull this up right now. I hate that this happens. I hate that when I go to Instagram, it goes to like the explore page here. Like, do I have to screen record the video to get this done? Do I have to screen record the video to make this play right? No, here we go. Got it queued up now. Thanks for your patience. This is my guy, Deezus Nice. If you've been following me long enough, you know Deezus and I used to work at MTV together. Deezus was like one of the first people to give me a cosign back in 2019, did a video for me telling people to listen to my podcast, which was super solid because he was on top of the world, him and Miro. Shout out to Deezus. Haven't seen him in a minute. Usually when we're at the stadium, we pull up on each other. And he had a video that caught my eye and put me on to something that went on over the weekend that I had no idea about. So let's show you this as I pop this up on the screen. And let's let Deezus talk about the worst parts of Trump's 250 flop fest.
Oof. Wow, it's like a patriotic fire festival, right? Now, people are saying that a lot of people didn't show up for it, and the people are saying this are photos. So, this looks like the white version of all those prom videos with the black kids that people get pissed off at. What are you wasting the money for? This is like a birthday party where the father was in charge of the decorations. This looks like, remember that Willy Wonka thing they had, and like the people were sad, and this is like an AI flyer you take your kids to, and they're like, you don't love me anymore, Dad?
Okay, so I guess there was a Trump 250 celebration at the White House over the weekend, and it was a dud.
Fired.
I guess there was a Trump celebration that nobody went to, but that leads me into, and I had no idea about it. And if you are watching, you can see, shout out to the people on the podcast that are going to listen to this. You can't see, but that should prompt you to go to YouTube and subscribe. Like, they had an event and there was nobody there. They had an event and it's for the 250th celebration, America's birthday at the White, I don't know, whatever. But Donald Trump came up in the news tied to the World Cup. And if you were paying attention over the weekend and whatnot, what happened, let's go to that now. So this guy's a special character. Clay Travis writes, sources, President Trump, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and White House Task Force head Andrew Giuliani put together a team of elite lawyers from outside the government to challenge the Flo Balogun red card. Specifically, they challenged the use of slow motion instant replay to give the red card, which they argued violated FIFA rules. The president also conveyed to Gianni Infantino, FIFA's president, that the appeal had been filed and he believed the red card penalty was excessive. FIFA's independent committee reviewed the decision and agreed the penalty was incorrectly given, rescinding it under their Rule 27 authority. Now, when I first saw this, I looked into it a little bit more and I found out that I guess the appeal process was already underway. I guess they were already talking about rescinding this. And then I went back and looked at the play, and most people that looked at the play said it shouldn't have been called, and like this was perfectly fine. But the controversy, that was created, like a lot of people were not paying so much attention to, okay, Folarin Balogun, which if you watched my old show a few episodes ago, I talked about that was one of the most compelling stories from the World Cup. This guy being born in Brooklyn, New York, to Nigerian parents who were here visiting family, but going back to London, his mom being too pregnant to take the flight, him being born here and him having American citizenship to even play on the U.S. men's national team. I thought that was such a crazy story, and part of the reason why the U.S. men's national team was somewhat better. But, of course, the way fate should have it, he ends up suspended, and Donald Trump comes in with his power and his name and his stature, and he gets it reversed. I assume trying to help. And people had a lot to say about it in a negative way. I think most Americans, myself included, were like, yeah, awesome. Like, any advantage that we can get, let's get that. Any advantage that we can get, we're going to take it because it helps us out. And I feel like for so long, people have been waiting for the United States men's national soccer team to be better. And then also, we're hosting this thing. It's in our country. So, keep the party going from 4th of July on into Monday, the 6th. But, of course, the same vibes that were felt on Game 3 of the NBA Finals, I think some of the same vibes were felt in the game last night against Belgium. The United States laid an egg. The vibes were off. They got dominated. They got embarrassed. And here's a clip I want to play for you. And I'll let you hear this guy's words before the match. And here's something that I said, right? No matter what, the game has to be played. And I felt like it was a catch-22. What do I mean? If they were to have won the game, and that's another reason why I didn't do a show yesterday, because I knew this would be the biggest story in sports. If the United States won the game, and let's say Flo Balogun had a goal, the first goal, 2 goals, whatever, that would be a huge story. Hey, he shouldn't have played. Hey, he was the difference. He was a big advantage. But they lose, and it's like there are some Americans and some just people in the country in general who are like, serves you right for trying to fix things, for having Donald Trump stick his nose into FIFA business. So here, let's play this, and I'll comment on it after.
Talking about an appeal process. There is no appeal process here at this FIFA World Cup. They're not allowed to do this. So take it one step further, Ali. This is moving the goalpost on the players, because all you want as a player is, if the refereeing is going to be bad on the field, be bad consistently so that the players can get used to it, so the players can adapt. There is no way to adapt here. Jan mentioned about in his village, the rules as you go. This is what it is here. I mean, I'm of the train of thought that it's not a red card in real time, but Ali said it best. With what we see, can you reverse it? And it's not even the rules to allow it to be reversed. This is unprecedented. This is literally them making the rules up as they go. So I repeat, if you're an American fan, you should feel glorious right now, because you get your best goal scorer back, and he could literally be the X factor to advancing to the next round. If you're anybody but a U.S. men's national team fan, this feels off. It feels like the host nation is gaining a favor here.
Hey, now that was before the match. And like he said, if you're an American and you're rooting for Team America, you feel great. If you're anybody else, you feel like, hey, something fishy is going on. And something fishy was going on as soon as we watched that game start yesterday. Why weren't they wearing these jerseys? Why weren't they wearing the white and red striped jerseys? And if you take a look here, USA Soccer when it's time to play a real team. And again, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see this picture right now. But, yeah, they got washed.
What the fuck?
it was not even close. It was like, okay, that one, that first goal that was scored, and then what was his name? Malik Tillman again with magic, right? Another brother on the team. You love to see it. But let me take this down. Malik Tillman with another free kick goal. They score, they tie it up, and you're like, yeah, all right, we got a match here. But then Belgium answered so quickly, and it's like, yo, I think the trump card is going to end up being a mush card, and it couldn't mush the Knicks because the Knicks had a 7-game series, but that first game at the Garden that Trump went to, it had very similar vibes. I mean, Belgium scored so fast. Like, let me play this for anybody watching here that didn't watch the game, but I feel like everybody watched. I feel like everybody I talked to watched. Shout out to Mike, my neighbor. I was leaving the building, and Mike said he watched, and we had a conversation about it. And I'm like, yeah, that was embarrassing. So here's that.
Defender Tim Ream, it's a great ball across goal. And Belgium take the early lead, punishing the United States for making a mistake in their body.
So the United States making mistakes, they were getting outclassed. And when I say that the Belgian team, and they've got some good players. Like, I didn't know Romelu Lukaku was on that team. They used him late. But look at this view of this goal right here that I'm about to show you guys. This was it right here. This is when I'm like, bro, they don't belong on the same field as them. They look like the freshman team versus the varsity. Warren Sharp writes, a top 10 most embarrassing goal in World Cup history. What a view of this disaster. Let me make it as big as I can and play it for you right now. This is when the goalie comes all the way out of the 18, and then he pulls a Young Wei Koo. He goes to kick. He pulls a Charlie Brown. He doesn't kick the ball.
Here, he's scored 92 goals. This one, Vanaken ends up right at his feet. Good pressure from Cavalier. Here, he's scored 92 goals. This one, Vanaken ends up right at his feet.
No!
Good pressure from Cavalier.
Like, that's just like, that can't happen in the biggest game of your life. That can't happen. And speaking of the biggest game of your life, Christian Pulisic, boy, went out sad, went out super sad, lame. Just look, Nick Wright put out there on Twitter, Pulisic skipped the Gold Cup, much to the dismay of many current and former teammates and his coach, to be best ready for the World Cup. He then went 6 months without scoring before the World Cup. And then in the 5 games of the World Cup, he missed 1 and left 2 early with injury. Bruh. Do I have a bruh sound effect? I should have a bruh sound effect. I'll just hit the bruh. So let's talk about Christian Pulisic, because we've heard about this young man since he was 16. And he's been the face of USA Soccer now for 2 World Cups. And when you're hyped at a young age and you have that clean-cut American boy next door look, they're going to put you in all the commercials and they're going to expect you to be the star. He turned the ball over, and in the biggest moment of his career in this World Cup, on the best team he's been on, he ends up leaving the game hurt. And here's what he had to say after, which to me, I'm like, I already think soccer players are a little soft, the way they're, the way they're flailing around. But check out what homeboy had to say after. This is funny, right?
I know you were in a lot of pain, had to be subbed off. What were you dealing with, fighting through?
Yeah, I mean, I just twisted my ankle and just sprained my ankle. I mean, it's just frustrating to end like that, of course. But now I time to rest.
Bro, get out of here. Bro, beat it. He had a sprained ankle in the biggest moment. He couldn't try and gut it out. And we'll put a pen in that. As I'm talking about these guys being soft, we'll put a pin in that. Talking about gutting it out, biggest moment of your career. And then he says, now I'll get time to rest. Please, bro. Please. Nobody tackled you. Just the way he was sulking on the bench. But, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to Belgium. To the victors go the spoils on American soils. Look at these guys having a party in the USA, mocking Donald Trump, doing the Trump dance. I'm telling you, it was USA versus the world. It flipped to being the world versus USA after that whole thing. And they kept doing it, right? They're up 4-1. I stopped watching at this point. I was watching the Yankee game. It's 4-1 at this point. My wife fell asleep. She woke up. Did we win? I'm like, did we win? They're never coming back. They were down 3-1. They weren't coming back. Down 4-1. They were absolutely cooked. And so they kept it going. I know some of you guys are big Trump fans, but I think around the world, this shows you, like, they laugh at Buddy. They think he's a joke. They're mocking him, and they're mocking us as Americans, my fellow Americans. They're in the locker room doing the dance. They're in the locker room hitting the Trump dance, celebrating. It feels good to be in America, to beat Team America, the U.S. men's national team, even when Donald Trump tried to pull a fast one, even though I think it would have happened anyway. But, yeah, that's all I've got on the World Cup talk, man. I'll hit the chat real quick and see what you guys are on in here, but I'm going to move on from that. That's probably the most World Cup I've done in the last couple weeks leading up. Makes sense, though. U.S. is out, and that's the conclusion. And there was so much drama and storylines around it. Hopefully I did a good enough job hitting on those. Kyle says, unfortunately, as a 30-plus year fan of the national team since 1994 World Cup, was big in New Jersey. The USA team crapped the bed so bad in the last game that I can't see the positives to this journey. Yeah, this is a setback. This is a bad look. I don't know the ages of these guys that are on the team, but I'm assuming that most of them will be young enough to be back in 4 years. So I don't know what to tell you. Kyle follows up and he says, 3 of the 4 goals given up were like Mets-Jets level bad. That says it all. That says it all. Like, only the Mets can out-Mets the Mets. Jets just end the season. The jokes write themselves. That is how the United States came up yesterday. Okay, now speaking of getting hurt, as we shift gears here, what did I want to shift to? I wanted to shift to, let's go to the NBA, but we'll talk about 2 things. We'll start with a current Knick, and then we'll hit a former Knick. Let's break, and then when we come back, NBA talk. But the segue is Christian Pulisic being hurt and leaving the game and leaving his team and his country in the biggest moment of his career versus what we're about to see.
It's the Keith McPherson Show.
Hey, girl, hey. Still here, still rocking. Let's now move on to some NBA talk. And what I'm going to do here is end on Instagram, by Instagram. And so what that does is pare us down so that the people on Instagram are going to be like, hey, I was watching on Instagram. Well, you should know by now to come to YouTube. You should know to be on Twitter. Twitter, you're still in there. Twitter, I got too much love for Twitter. That's where my biggest audience is. If I'm going to do a show, I might as well go where the people are. And now we got to go with this NBA conversation to talk about Big Body Brunson. Jalen Brunson will undergo surgery to repair an injury in his right forearm wrist area and will be recovering and rehabbing for at least 2 months following the procedure. Brunson played through the discomfort in the area during the Knicks' playoff run. So, like, you want to talk about a warrior? You want to talk about a lion? You want to talk about the heart of a champion? Jersey. Also Illinois, not far from Chicago. Jalen Brunson, born to play basketball. You know, I started hating on him when he first came to the Knicks, and I quickly stopped that because I got to see him play more. I got to learn more about him. How can you hate on a guy like Jalen freaking Brunson? This guy was playing hurt, and we didn't know about that injury. We saw the knee in game 1. We saw how just like I said to my wife one night, look at the bags under his eyes. He is mentally and physically exhausted. Ian Begley wrote, Jalen Brunson will be recovering and rehabbing, but then he also made a correction. Jalen Brunson played through discomfort in his left wrist forearm during the playoffs and NBA finals. The injury will be surgically repaired. The tweet below has the correct wrist forearm injury. Apologize for the error. He'll be rehabbing and recovering for at least 2 months. So July, August, September, he'll be good. He's not going to miss any time. And here's another guy that ended up not missing any time. Hold on. Get ready for the jump scare. Wow. Mitchell Robinson. It's not easy being green. The Boston Celtics put out a picture that says, gonna look good in green. It's got Mitchell Robinson in the facility next to the banners wearing a Nate Robinson number 4 jersey or holding a Nate Robinson number 4 jersey. Obviously, it's not Nate Robinson. But you get the joke I shouldn't have to explain the joke. Do I have to explain the joke? I might have to explain the joke. There's some young folks in here. So Mitchell Robinson decides to wear number 4 with the Celtics, and I immediately thought of this. Are Celtics fans going to break out their old Nate Robinson jerseys, number 4, same number, same jersey, same number, same jersey? Anyway, Mitchell Robinson told us what happened with his injury, where he didn't miss any time. He put out this big blurb. Now, whenever I see stuff like this, folks, I'm like, all right, this is from the Notes app. Somebody else probably helped you write it. And we don't want to be reading all this small stuff on the screen. Basically, the long and short of it, because a lot of people were saying, oh, Mitch, you're dead to me, whatever, blah, 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 you're dead to me. You signed with the Celtics. And he was saying he wanted to come back. And we saw OG in the comments, this, that, whatever. But he basically went out there and said that something had happened to his youngest brother. His youngest brother was in a car accident. And he didn't get home late. And he felt, a deep sense of concern. And he couldn't help his brother. And, he's the oldest sibling, whatever. It doesn't make an excuse for it. But basically, he punched something and he broke his hand. Okay. Moving on. It didn't stop anything. And he did go on to say, the New York Knicks are still the 2026 NBA champs. He was able to play through it. And he was just fine. And speaking of just fine, this guy's doing just fine. And his girl is fine too. Donovan Mitchell. Breaking news. Cleveland Cavaliers All-Star. Donovan Mitchell has agreed on a 4-year, $273 million max contract extension that includes a player option for the 2030-30-31 season and a full trade kicker. Wow. Donovan Mitchell. And shout out to Donovan Mitchell. I just met his pops at Citi Field. He was so nice. And unassuming. You would not know that his son was about to sign a $273 million max contract. Papered up. Shout out to Donovan Mitchell Sr. for the hospitality. With Donovan Mitchell coming back and James Harden coming back, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. LeBron's going back to Cleveland. It makes perfect sense if you ask me. Full Court Pass reports LeBron James absolutely knows what team he's going to sign with, and the vibes are pointing towards a return to Cleveland. Cleveland, this is for you. Yo, why wouldn't he go back? Why wouldn't he go back? It's a full circle. I mean, he's back for the second time. But the kid from Akron, we are all witnesses. That team could certainly use him, right? They could play him instead of, I don't know, Dean Wade. Dean Wade signed with the Sixers. Their starting lineup is Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, LeBron James, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Sheesh. I could see it. I could see it. Cleveland is cooking up, and LeBron will go there for the low. Could you imagine? And then obviously LeBron talked about two things, right? He wants to be happy and he wants to win. Going back home and having that farewell tour at home, you know they're going to show him love. You know they're going to show him love. That's probably the only organization that will fully, cave and do all the LeBron stuff. And then every place that he goes on the road is supposed to probably give him a gift and a tribute and blah, 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 blah. But that is the only team out of like the Sixers who he never played for, the Warriors who he never played for, that's really going to go and crown the king. Because they drafted him there, he won a championship there, and they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they probably believe that they can win a championship with him there coming up. And, I like the idea of it. I am a LeBron fan. There were many years that I told people, I'm a Nets fan, but I just root for LeBron. I'm a Nets fan, but I watch LeBron. I think back in like 2018, 2019, there were some times where LeBron was playing against the Nets where I was conflicted. I'm like, I'm rooting for LeBron. Just because LeBron got too many haters. Here's something that I hate right now that's been floating around in the NBA circles. You see this? You see this? The NBA is testing out a new rule, one free throw for the entire amount of whatever you were shooting. In this case, Ryan Conwell made one free throw, so it equals 3 points since he was fouled shooting a three. Boo. Boo. Like sometimes you can be so smart, you look dumb. You know what I'm saying? This is stupid to me. I'm like, all right, bro. I get it. I understand why. They're trying to speed up the game. And if you shoot a three, you miss the three, you go to the line. That's 3 foul shots. It feels like it takes 3 minutes of time. But if you're shooting a three and you miss the three, I can't let you shoot one shot from the free throw line and give you 3 points. No, go make all 3 of those. I just think that I'm like, no, that'll never get cleared. You know how mad you would be in a game where somebody that's not really a shooter, Mitchell Robinson. No, here's a better one as we segue out of this. Andre Drummond. You know how mad you would be watching a game, Andre Drummond throws up a 3-point shot, gets fouled, and all he's got to do is knock down one free throw to get all 3 points? I'm like, come on, bro. This is fake basketball. Just like having a runner on second base that nobody put there. He didn't get a hit. He didn't get a walk. Nobody advanced that runner. That's fake baseball to speed up games. Okay, last part of this NBA conversation, and I see y'all in the chat. What up, KP? What up, DBM? What's up, Pam? Stoner Detectives out here as well. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys are hitting like on YouTube and sharing the link and subscribing and all that good stuff. Andre Drummond signed with the New York Knicks. And let's play this little cut from Andre Drummond over the weekend that I found on the Elon Musk machine. Andre Drummond on joining the Knicks. Let's run it right now.
What's up, you guys? It's Girl Mika, and I'm here with Andre Drummond. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
So is it true that you just signed to the Knicks?
Yes, ma'am.
You did? What made that team be the right fit for you?
I think just what they need right now. Getting rid of Mitchell Robinson was a huge loss for them. I bring in a similar talent, similar energy, but, I'm a veteran. I've been around for a long time. I know what it takes to win. So excited to be in a new world, in a new city, and going back to a place I'm familiar with.
You say you know what it takes to win. What does it take to win?
Shit, being great, sacrificing. Not knowing that every night might not be your night, knowing that, focusing on the greater good of what we're doing this for, which is to win a championship, and that's what I'm here for.
So you think you're going to bring them another championship?
I ain't doing it by myself, but I'm definitely excited to be a part of something bigger than me.
Okay. Mount Vernon, Andre Drummond, former Brooklyn Net, and shout out to Mikael Brown Jr., Yegor Joman, and the young Brooklyn Nets that were out there in Sacramento competing in the California Classic. I got my eyes on it a little bit, but not too much, nothing too crazy. KP in the chat says, need your thoughts on our Yankees playing stupid games. And you know what I say when they play stupid games? They win stupid prizes. But they won the game last night. So we can break right here again and then get into some MLB talk.
It's the Keith McPherson Show.
Yeah. Obviously, who else would it be? It's me. So let's get into the Yankee conversation right now. I mean, where do you guys want to start? All of the losing that happened? I think it's better to start with where we are now, going into the game tonight. Caballero is starting at short. Will Warren on the mound. Ali Sanchez behind the plate. And I will say this. There has been some terrible basketball. We're talking baseball now, Keith. Get with it. There has been some terrible baseball played by the New York Yankees. There has been a consistent lack of focus, a comedy of errors, and a lot of that goes back to Aaron Boone and what we call the June Boone swoon. But hey, it's July now. They just dropped a series to the Twins. It's in the past. Last night, they had 3 hits. They were being no-hit. Was it Griffin Jax on the mound? You know, he had a perfect game. And I'm sitting there watching the game and I'm saying, how many innings do we watch whoever it is? It could be Peyton Toll. It could be Sonny Gray. It could be whoever is on the mound. How many innings do we have to watch? 3 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. I'm like, these guys are terrible. And nobody's thinking lay a bunt down. Nobody's thinking do something. But ultimately, they were able to work a couple walks in front of Caballero. And I said this, I think, on WFAN. This whole back and forth with Volpe and Caballero right now sucks. And it's a huge distraction, I think, for a team that's struggling because the Yankees are going to just continue to, piss on your head and tell you that it's raining, right? Caballero's the starting shortstop. Volpe's doesn't got the job. Oh, no, now Volpe's going to play. Now, Aaron Boone came out and told reporters that the starting shortstop position will be day-to-day going forward. But I thought you said it was this man's job. The Yankees, no wonder they lost like they lost. They had the worst batting average in OPS in the entire league during the stretch. They can't hit. And you know what? There's sometimes where you watch Volpe's at-bats and you're like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And I'm tired of it. I'm rooting for Volpe too, being a Jersey guy, being a New York guy, being a homegrown talent. But I root for the Yankees. I was rooting for the Yankees before Anthony Volpe was born. I play the best guy. So the record after last night with Caballero at shortstop, the Yankees are 32-18. The record with Anthony Volpe at shortstop, the Yankees are 16-20. Now, obviously, he doesn't pitch. He doesn't play every position. But there is a certain thing about vibes and energy. And I was paying attention last night after Cabby was the hero of the game, after Cabby homered twice, after Cabby, right, when they worked those 2 walks. I don't know if I finished my thought there. They worked those 2 walks, and then Cabby gets a changeup and hits it out, chucks his bat, and it's like relief. Let him play. He just has a flair for the dramatic. He is styling and profiling. It just looks better than Anthony Volpe out there. And the fans are so upset about the run that Volpe has gotten. I think there's a stat out there from Talking Yanks that Volpe is, out of all of the qualified hitters in MLB, Volpe has the most at-bats for a player with an on-base percentage. I think that's like under 285. I saw it and I just was like, bro, I don't even need to see that because we know the numbers make it look even worse than it is. When you actually think about that, like 2,000 at-bats, he's the only player in history to have that low of an on-base percentage. I don't know if I can even find it now because you know those guys over there fire off 100 tweets a day. And I didn't save it, but I caught wind of it, and I just was like, please. So that's the Caballero Volpe thing. Caballero's in the lineup today. He's playing against his former team. Last night, again, losing my train of thought, listening to what the players say, hey, how about Caballero? They talk about him in a way that they don't talk about Volpe. And I think that you just, like, neither one are great options. But I think that you go with the option that now that, you know, Trent Grisham's back and you don't need to put him in the outfield, you go with that option. Volpe does not have to play because Volpe only plays one position and because ultimately Caballero is supposed to be this utility guy that you use all around the diamond. No. Not right now where this team is. I don't know when Judge is coming back. And I can't be concerned with that. I don't know when Stanton's coming back, and I damn sure can't be concerned with that. I thought we were a year away from them being able to buy him out for $10 million. Nope. The saga's continuing for another year. So disappointing. But let Cabby rock until he slumps. Let Cabby rock until he needs to be sat down. Volpe doesn't just get to play because he's your homegrown first-round pick. You like him. You know, he's been coming to the stadium as a kid. He met Derek Jeter. His parents are fans. Like, we need to win. And I say that to say this about the rest of this series with the Yankees and Tampa Bay. Don't celebrate just yet. Will Warren hasn't been good. I guarantee you they're ready to bounce back tonight against Will Warren. And then we don't have a pitcher lined up for Thursday yet. And, I mean, Brandon Beck, he had nothing. So it's Cole Wednesday and maybe a bullpen game on Thursday. And Tampa invented the bullpen game. So we took the first game, great. Take this next game tonight and ensure a split. But I would still be afraid, even though Tampa is 3 games up on the Yankees in the standings, they're 4 games up in the loss column, and they own the tiebreaker. So it's 5 games. It's not really 3. And if you guys are thinking like I'm thinking as Yankee fans, what happened to us last year? We went on a swoon. We lost all these games. The math wasn't mathing then, but I remember saying, yo, it does not matter. You know, it does matter. Like, it does not matter if the Yankees think that they can play these different lineups and lose these games and whatever. It doesn't matter in the moment because their analytics and their math say like it's a 162 game season. But the losses count the same at the end of the year. And you run out of time. And the Yankees ended up running out of time. They ran out of games. They ran out of another series to play against a cupcake team. And the tiebreaker was the difference. And in this Boone era, the Yankees win when they have home field advantage. They lose when they don't. The Yankees need home field advantage. They need to win the division. The division's not out of reach. But depending on how the rest of these games go this week, which, like, they could rip off 3 in a row against us. And then I think we're cooked because I don't know when Judge is coming back, Stan's coming back. I don't know now who we're going to get at the deadline or not get at the deadline. Like, I am just not very confident in the Yankees right now. You can call me a homer because of my Yankees stuff on my wall. I always like shrug it off when people call me a Yankees shill because that's a WFAN term that they use for Big Mac way too much. I'm not a shill. I keep it too real to be a shill. This is troublesome. The amount of games that they just lost, the issues that they're having at the plate, hitting and getting on base, guys like Cody Bellinger slumping, guys like Paul Goldschmidt now slumping, not knowing when Stanton and Judge are coming back, not knowing who is the 5th pitcher in this rotation, when is Fried coming back, hopefully soon. They could still end up limping into the All-Star break here. And if they lose the next 3 games to Tampa, I think the division could be out of reach. That's not what I want. That's not what I'm hoping for. But, like, nothing is, like, I don't know. For all the people that are like, calm down. It happens every year. I'm like, that's not good that it happens every year. That's an indictment on the leadership. That's an indictment on Boone, especially as they're talking about lack of focus. Who's supposed to have them locked in? Who's supposed to tighten their asses up? Who's supposed to make sure? Whose job is it to coach the team, manage the team, and make sure that they're all focused on the task at hand? The manager. The manager. Let's see what you guys are on in here. Pam, I got you. I'm going there next as we are talking about the Yankees. You know, not all doom and gloom here. We got some positive stuff that has happened. And I speak on Cody Bellinger, but he's in the All-Star game. Cam Schlittler, I speak on. Dog. He took it personally because Jared Carrabis said he was regressing. He came out and shoved last night. Cam Schlittler's in the All-Star game. And so is Benny Blanco Arroz. And he's doing the Derby. I like that. I appreciate that. He's doing the Derby, and he's going to have his dad pitch to him. I hope my son can be good enough at baseball one day that I can go on the field and pitch to him at the home run derby. Like, as a dad, you won. You won. So, yeah, shout out to our all-star selections. Here is the All-Star Game 2026 starting lineups. And you see Shea Langoliers at catcher from the A's. Yordan Alvarez, who's probably going to win MVP. He's been tearing it up at DH. Nick Kurtz, he's a bopper from the A's at first base. You got Ernie Clement because the whole country of Canada voted for him. Junior Caminero, huge year for that kid. 23 years old, coming off of the World Baseball Classic. He had 11 home runs in 11 games. He cooled off last night. And then some of the usual suspects, Bobby Witt Jr., Mike Trout, Byron Buxton, Aaron Judge. And then on the National League side, as we will shift to talking about the Mets in a little bit, and I'll take some questions and stuff from the chat at the end. Drake Baldwin at catcher from ATL, ho. ATL, ho. Shohei Ohtani at DH. Freddie Freeman at first base. Ozzie Albies at second base. Max Muncy, that funky Muncy, having a great year. CJ Abrams having a great year. Brandon Marsh having a great year. Andy Pajes having a great year. And the generational Juan Soto having a great year. And that's my segue into the Make It Happen Mets. So, you know, Juan Soto makes the All-Star game. And let me share the Steve Gelb's tweet. Share. Juan Soto has been named an All-Star for the NL All-Star team. His .971 OPS currently leads all National League hitters. Just sucks that he's stuck on the Mets. He's stuck on the Make It Happen Mets, trying to make it happen. And you know what? Mets fans are starting to turn on him. I was on Salicata's show last week, and I was listening to the back and forth between him and Hector from the Bronx, and it seemed like there was just a little bit of a souring on Juan Soto, a little bit of buyer's remorse. But you know what Juan Soto can do to shut people up? You know what Juan Soto can do to remind people every once in a while that he's like that? Take a look at this.
3-1 coming. And a high fly ball, deep right field, right down the line. Gone if it stays fair. That ball is out of here. Juan Soto gives the Mets the lead with a 3-run homer off Raisel Iglesias in the top of the ninth.
Now watch this. He blows a kiss. He hits the Spider-Man. Does his signature pound.
Down to their final out.
Okay. What I'll say about Juan Soto, where he blew that kiss, I was reading something that there were some tarps off kids, and this tarps off is so corny. I'm so glad I'm old and washed, married with a kid. I don't go to as many games as I used to because it's just like everybody's such a follower. Literally, the internet, everybody's looking for followers, and in real life, people are just followers. So there were some tarps off kids in left field, and supposedly they were heckling Juan Soto, and he heard him, and he paid him back. Devin Williams tried to blow the game. Matt Olson comes through, hits another home run. He tore them up in that series. But all in all, you know, the Mets come back, and Juan Soto proves that he's clutch, and they win the game, barely, 7-6, and then they're also able to split the series. So all things considered, the Mets, after firing their manager, go down to Atlanta. Atlanta has been a boogeyman for them. And they're able to win 2 games, and maybe they can get something going now. Maybe they can go on, I don't know, some semblance of a run. But I don't think it's going to matter. We'll talk more as we get close to the deadline about them selling. There's a lot of talk about Freddie Peralta, some of their young guys. And then this conversation that's being had right now, to me, I think is just conversation for talking heads like myself and others on the radio to have. And I had this conversation on the radio on the 4th of July, early Saturday morning, and I had a little fun with it. So this quote from Steve Cohen, right? Steve Cohen said, "I believe strongly that these guys are getting along much better," right? Steve Cohen spoke to Joel Sherman and John Heyman. And then, John Harper said, "Not sure what Cohen thought he was accomplishing here, saying that Lindor Soto thing was only an issue last year, acknowledges that their animosity was real and makes it a story again with both players likely to be asked about it." Steve Cohen, I did not understand why he chose to go on Joel Sherman and John Heyman's The Show podcast. Why not go on your own platform? Why not have multiple reporters be able to ask questions? If you're going on a podcast, I joked, why not go on the Rico Bronya podcast with Evan, a fan, versus reporters that, I don't know, I guess he's trying to curry favor with them, whatever. But, now he opened up another can of worms. Now the conversation is all around Juan Soto and Lindor, because Soto had a quote where they asked him about his relationship with Francisco Lindor, and he said, it's better now, but he said something along the lines of like, when you meet a girl, you don't start kissing her right away. Oh boy, I had a blast with that on the radio. I had a blast with that one on the radio. I had a blast with that on the radio because there are plenty of girls that you meet, and that's exactly what you do. And then you never see them again. I'm like, Juan Soto, if you got a $765 million contract and she's not going as soon as you meet her the first night you see her, you're doing something wrong, buddy. You got no game. You got no riz. You need some help. Somebody got to help that man. Somebody got to help that guy. That's all the time I'm going to spend on the Mets. At least they've won back-to-back games. They've got the trade deadline coming up, and they should sell. And to close that, I don't think they should sell Lindor. They already have gotten rid of so many good players on the team, and why get rid of another? Why get rid of another? Why get rid of another good player for relationship purposes, for clubhouse vibes? I don't know, man. I don't know what goes on. I don't know how much I believe. Believe half of what you hear, or believe half of what you see, none of what you hear. But the Mets, only the Mets can out-Mets the Mets. Only the Mets find new ways to just create new narratives, new jokes, new lows, and they did it again with this Juan Soto Lindor relationship issue, and when you meet a girl, you don't start kissing her right away. Sure you do, Juan. Sure, maybe you were around the wrong girls growing up. Sure you do, Juan. I had a blast with that on the radio. We were talking about teen night. We were talking about school dances. And, obviously, if your school dance, you're not meeting a girl for the first time. But I started to think back in my mind. I started to think I wish I had to sound like doo-doo-doo, like the daydream sound. I started talking about going to the CBA dance, going to teen night at Club Abyss, Deco Lounge. I was like, bro, that was the whole sport back in the day when you were 13, 14 years old. You meet a girl, you grind with her. You start hooking up with her. You don't even know her name yet, let alone just meeting her. I don't know. I don't know what type of games Juan Soto was playing, but all right, man. That's about to be my time, so let's wrap this thing up.
It's the Keith McPherson Show.
Okay. Outro. Time to close. I hit the MLB talk. I hit the NBA talk. I hit the World Cup talk. And now it's time to get out. So as we get out in this next couple minutes, and now I'm back in the studio, and I swear, my nose itches because this is my cat's kitty litter. And my cat, I don't know where my cat is, but I'm like, there's something that triggers me in that kitty litter. And maybe just sitting this way. Because even when I was doing the other side of the studio, where I was using this wall for the other show I was doing, I feel like I didn't have this happen so much. But anyway, let's get out on a couple notes here. Yankees play in Tampa again. And Will Warren on the mound, like I said, followed up with another win. They did so much losing. They absolutely need to get a win here. The Mets have 3 versus the Royals, 3 versus the Red Sox. Let's see what happens as we approach the trade deadline August 3rd. And double checking everything in my notes here to make sure we're good. Yeah. Okay. See, the outro is where we take a look at a couple things that we did not hit on, just to make sure we're all claro. Speaking of being all claro, I thought this was an interesting story, and I'm sure more will come out about it. But speaking on the All-Star game, 0 Puerto Rican-born All-Stars for the first time since 1988. That's crazy. No Edwin Diaz, no Francisco Lindor, no Carlos Correa. I mean, even the Puerto Rican team was a little bit affected in the World Baseball Classic. A few guys did not play. Javi Baez. I think Nolan Arenado is half Puerto Rican. Or I don't know. Either way, that was just an interesting story that popped up. And here is the second to last note that I had. And I think that this is great for baseball. We've been trying to get these guys up out of the paint for a minute. C.B. Buckner ranked 91 of 91 last season out of MLB umpires. Laz Diaz, 83rd. Brian O'Nora, 85th. Lance Barksdale, 70th. Marvin Hudson, 52nd. Tony Randazzo, no games called this season. He's out. Andy Fletcher, 74th. All of these umpires have accepted buyouts and will retire at the end of the season. And Diehard Yanks writes, the ABS system has actually impacted the game in such a positive way. Yes, because with the ABS system and these guys not being God, right, because they all have a God complex, they all, like, I don't know, they approach the game with a God-like mentality, like, hey, it's my way or the highway. You get these guys up out of the paint now. Get younger guys that are, coming in using the ABS system. And get these old guys up out of here behind the plate. All right. That's all we got. Let's hit you guys up in the chat real quick. And then we'll actually close this thing out. Shout out to Bada Booms in the chat. I just said I was on the Salicata show. Bada Booms. I got to do another appearance. So let me know when you guys need a Yankee guy, football guy, Nets guy. I know you're never going to need a Nets guy. But my microphone was off. If you're listening to this, Bada Booms, you can hear the bass, the difference in my microphone. I guess because it was early in the morning. I restarted my computer. I don't know. I did the whole show with my microphone off. A Day says, I think that was a terrible analogy for Soto. Why we got to think about them kissing? And that's another thing, too, right? I'm like, that was the first thing I said. What does kissing a girl have to do with Francisco Lindor?
Boss.
But, like, Soto's a little different kind of guy. He marches to the beat of his own drum. I don't know. A Day, you watching with your son? I got to go pick my son up right now from daycare. Appreciate that. Karan says, I have no confidence in Cashman to do anything great at the deadline. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to say it, but my confidence in the Yankees this year has been shot. It is not high. It is not high. But, hey, go win tonight. Make some moves at the deadline. And anything is possible. Anything can happen. All right, that's all I've got. Appreciate you guys for pulling up. Keith McPherson Show, Episode 2. My closing remarks here. I'm trying out studios. I cannot wait to show you the look and feel of the Keith McPherson Show in at least 2 to 3 other studios. At least 2 in the upcoming weeks of this month. having some meetings and conversations and things about where I'm taking this show. You've probably heard me on WFAN in the last couple weeks as well. I will be on again on Saturday night after the Yankee game, like 7 or 8 o'clock till midnight. Then I will be down in Philly on Sunday for the All-Star Village and MLBX 3-on-3 competition. And then I will be hosting some stuff at the Mitchell & Ness store. I've been doing some live streams, some TikTok shopping live streams for Mitchell & Ness, so I have an activation there. I'll probably be at the Derby. I'll be around in Philly. If you're out there, if you're in South Jersey, Philly, hit me up. Then Fanatics Fest next Thursday. I'll be there all 4 days. I am officially in the Yankees community in the Fanatics network, so look out for stuff coming from that. And Dodgers-Yankees Sunday night baseball I'm booked for, and I might be at a couple other games. So stay tuned. Next episode I'll probably do from home, but we are talking to some other studios and production companies to take on the Keith McPherson Show. I'm extremely blessed and thankful for where I think we're going to go in the future, and I don't go anywhere without you guys watching. So if you're on Instagram, well, no, I ended the Instagram. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and bang like. If you're watching this right now on Twitter, I will put the link to YouTube under the tweet. I will put the link to YouTube under the tweet, under the tweet, so that when this stream ends, you can go and subscribe if you like what you heard, what you saw, so that you're not watching on Twitter. Subscribe here. I'm putting this on Twitter right now. And what I'll say, too, is I'm not even beasting for subs and, like YouTube. I am making myself available, continuing to sharpen my sword and do what I do and do what I love, which is talk sports and entertain and go through the news and have these conversations with you guys. I never cared about numbers. Because there are some people that don't have the numbers, they're great. There's some people that aren't great that have the numbers on already built platforms. What I'm saying is this is all subject to change. Like, there are conversations and things being had. Stick with me, and I'm excited to show you what's coming next. So next episode I'll probably do from home on Thursday or Friday. We'll let a couple other things happen. I think Friday makes the most sense. But hit like on YouTube, and you already know how I close these things. Stay blessed, stay up. And stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready. I'm out.
Girl, let's get real. Some pads are just diapers with a good PR team. But not the new Kotex BioCare. That's because Kotex BioCare helps defend against odor and irritants. And it's the first and only pad with this pH proactive system that helps optimize the pad's pH. Just think of it as self-care for down there. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the all-new Kotex, completely redesigned to meet your needs. You asked, we heard.